going on, everybody? This is Josh from Sorcerer Studios, and welcome back to episode 19 of the Dungeon Game Dev series. Now, in this video, we're going to finish up the vision system for Ethan, and we're going to get that set up with the Brute. So, as a quick refresher, in the last episode, we set up the vision system so that as Ethan got closer to the Brute, the green bar will begin to go black, and the closer to the Brute Ethan got, the faster the green bar would disappear. Now in this video, we're going to make it so that the Brute follows Ethan when he is seen, and when Ethan goes out of the Brute's range, the Brute will stop following him, and Ethan's vision bar will go back to completely green. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. So without further ado, let's begin. So that actually didn't take as long as I thought. So I'm currently in the dungeon testing the vision system with the Brute, and as you can see, the Brute is way over there, and if you look at the green bar there, well, it's mostly green, but if I were to begin moving closer to the Brute, as you can see, it's turning black, and the closer I get to the Brute, the faster it turns. Now it's pretty slow just for testing purposes. But let's say I crept behind this crate right here. See, he doesn't see me. Now there are some bugs, and I'll address those in a second. But if I were just to creep among these bars, and oh no, he now sees me. So that's a very big problem that the Brute sees. No, well, it's a problem for Ethan. It's not a problem for the game developer, because that's what's supposed to happen. And as you can see, his pathfinding works. Not specifically with this big bowl yet. He's still, let's see, does he walk through? Not really. Let's see, I'll kind of have to see if he walks through it or not. But yeah, so here's what I currently have so far. Now, there really is no system of getting Ethan's vision back up, meaning if I were to crouch behind, he will keep seeing me for all of eternity, unless I were to... Oh, there's another one. Whoa! Okay, I completely forgot that he was there. Oh geez. Okay, well, this is an awkward situation. So without further ado, let me show you let me explain to you how, to the best of my abilities, how I got this to work. So we're going to take a deep dive into the inspector of our Brute, and he really shouldn't be called Brute Player anymore. That was like 6 or so episodes ago when I had a little bit of fun and made the Brute become the player. So I'll have to change that. But this is specifically the script that we're looking for, and it's the vision controller. So there's a couple of variables on the outside. I'll get to the vision modifier later, but this is the magic variable. It is distance added, and currently it's 0 because we're not in play mode. But if I were to go into the play mode, the closer Ethan gets to the Brute, the higher this value added will be. And Ethan, I'll show you his script later, but if his value reaches 100, then the Brute sees him. So this value added basically adds to the green bar. It adds more black to the green bar. And this check mark is basically the I see Ethan check mark. And if it's checked, then that means the Brute sees him. And so basically what happens is, if I were to hit play, you will see that the Brute, to see Ethan, actually shoots a ray cast at Ethan, and as you can see, Ethan is out of the Brute's range, so the value added is negative, and I'll have to change that. Actually, let's see what happens if I get really far away. Okay, so it doesn't really affect Ethan's health bar very much, but if you look at the value added, if it goes above 0, then Ethan's bar begins to turn black. And also it tracks the distance between the Brute and Ethan. And it basically shoots a raycast, when Ethan is within range of the brute. So right about now, as you can see. But I don't want to get in his range for too long because then the brute will see him. So it shoots a raycast and it adds a value. And when the value reaches 100, then the brute sees him and it follows him. Now these are layer masks, and we have, so it's basically the layer that the raycast responds to or hits, and that would be targetable and player. The player is Ethan, and targetable is basically all the other physical objects. So if Ethan is hiding behind a crate or a barrel, then the raycast will hit it and stop. And as you can see, the player target, which is basically an empty game object beside Ethan's head, is the Ethan character target. So now let me show you what is going on Ethan's side. So here's Ethan's inspector right here, and the script that we're going to look at, not Ethan Health, is the enemy vision tracker. And as you can see, Ethan is already partially seen, as seen by the %seen variable, and currently it's going up because Ethan is now seen by the brute. But if I were to get out of the brute's range, then the %seen will stay stagnant. Now I don't have a way to get the %seen down to 0 again, but I'll have to add that sometime in the future. But if I were to make the game window larger, so if you look at the green bar here, and I were to drag the %seen variable, let's say I made it to 50, as you can see the bar is half full, being optimistic of course. So let's bring that to 0, and as you can see, there's something called the camo modifier, and this is a stat that I just decided to add. It's probably going to come into good use later, but let's say I were to walk into the brute's radius, and as you can see the bar is slowly going up. If I were to change the camo modifier to, let's say, 10, that means that Ethan's bar begins to drag at only 10% the speed that it originally would. Now this is a super high number, but let's say that I brought this back to 1. Well, then Ethan got seen really quickly and the brute now sees him. So how to apply this? I might make some sort of invisibility cloak where when Ethan puts it on, the camo modifier goes up to, let's say, 100, so that nothing sees him. I might do that. So that's one thing I might do. And one thing that I just realized, the Eyesight Modifier on the brute basically does the inverse of the camo modifier. So if I were to hit play and I were to play as Ethan, so as you can see the bar is going down at a steady rate, but if the brute has an eyesight modifier of greater than 1, let's say the eyesight modifier was 5, that means that the brute, his eyesight is 5 times greater than it originally was, which means that Ethan's vision bar will go down 5 times faster. So let's see what happens if you look at the screen right here. And as you can see, that's going down way faster than it was originally. And what you just saw is probably the more realistic approach to how fast the enemies will see you. So if you're dodging behind barrels and stuff, then you'll have to do it rather quickly because, as you know, in real life, it doesn't take that long for someone to see you. So yes, so that is the vision system. A little laggy there, but yes, that is the vision system right there, or most of it at least. But there are a couple of bugs that I'd like to address, specifically one. So here's Ethan right here, and as you can see, I have a little sphere collider that's going around his head, and that's basically that is the empty game object called the player target that the brute locks the raycast on. So this specific sphere collider is what the brute is looking for. Now the problem is, if I were to run the sphere collider, it does stay in one place, but if I were to drag my view over here, and Ethan, let's say he wants to go behind this crate, and let's say he wants to crouch. Watch this. The player target stays in the same place. So I need to come up with a system that allows the player target to maintain the same position that Ethan's head is in. See, crouching does not allow me to crouching does not allow me to hide behind these low cropping barrels. So that's definitely something that I need to fix. So if Ethan wanted to crouch behind this, he wouldn't really be able to. So yeah, that's definitely something that I have to fix. So I will be fixing that. I will hopefully be fixing that in the next episode. So yeah, so I will be showing you the code to this probably in the next video when I actually complete it, hopefully. So without further ado, that's my progress on the vision system. I hope you liked this video, and if you didn't, you obviously know what button to press. So without further ado, guys, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.